last speaker of the day. It's been an amazing day. And our final presentation is delivered by Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Srividhya Sukumar, IIU Country Director for the United Arab Emirates. Dr. Sukumar is an accomplished educator, global leader, and advocate for innovation, lifelong learning, and international education cooperation. Her leadership has contributed significantly to strengthening educational partnerships across the nation, especially here in IIU. Please welcome Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Srividhya Sukumar. The virtual podium is all yours.
Thank you, Dr. Virginia. And what a spirit it is. I think it's already 10 o'clock over there in India. Yes. And it's past 8 over in UAE and respective time zones, but still we are all together because we're all very passionate about exactly what we are doing. So on that note, my sincere thanks to IIU and the whole team of IIU for the thought process of bringing discussions and deliberations about such a topic, commemorating each day worldwide and taking it forward to the community. If we keep talking about it, if we keep on just thinking about these things, somewhere the change will happen. As Dr. Mary Mayer was mentioning, be the change that you wish to see in the society. So that's what we are doing. We're trying to visualize the change together. And the second thing, again, I take from her, there's always a place for every man's need, but not for every man's greed. So on that note, definitely this thought of World Labor Day, International Labor Day, Child Labor Day is according to that. And definitely what is actually alarming is that what is it catalyzed for? Poverty, unemployment, illiteracy, population growth, and other social problems. And on the other hand, the other perspective of it, the employment of children, what it is catalyzing more, filling prisons, insane asylums, armed houses, means asking for needs and, like spreading their arms everywhere, slums, reformatories, and unfortunately, gin shops and drug peddling. Drug peddling is also being involved. And all of these are the threats that is contributing for to some extent, not to a major extent, but still it is happening. And definitely, it is the effort of informers like us who's a definite approach. You can contribute. The local people who run pages, when the individual is paying labor for small pittance wages, that means the family or something which is behind is driving the child to do that. How costly the child labor is. The child's thought, action, and the service is so very precious, and it is going for pittance wages. Can you imagine? That's what is the whole alarming figure. See, these days we're talking about engaging child and taking them forward to vocational education. On that note, if this is acceptable, but not for pittance wages, they should be respected for the time, effort, and money that they are putting in through. So that's the main reason that we are all against child labor. I'll come to that later, though it's a little controversy perspective, but still we can think about it. And the child labor has become an issue of grave importance as it has become a top priority in all the government level, definitely. And the world is heading towards it from the 21st century, and still it's going on, and still it is fresh and alive. That's what is it today's state is all about. And all those eminent speakers who have spoken at large, at length, what they have conveyed, I just put my notes into a PowerPoint, which I would like to share if I can. I'll go quick, Dr. Virginia, I'm sure, because I respect everyone's time. That's why. So quickly, that the catalyst for change today, from policy to protection, that we are looking into, from strengthening the legacy and the policy frameworks, rather than just talking about. In that case, what is the main thing? The first to talk about removing barriers of education, as Dr. Banu was mentioning, right to education. So reinforce free primary education and monitor gender parity across all school levels, and enhance employment of young persons under the Child Act, those who are below the age level according to the particular national. So under the Child Act, think about enhancing the employment of them for better wages, not for wage. And not to miss in the mention, specialized training for those educators who are going to do that with the SCREAM methodology and psychological counseling and the child's right integration. with the knowledge-based advocacy that this can be handled with the National Labor Force Survey and the data-driven decisions so that the direct action community models are being integrated, well integrated with the interagency collaboration who is working alongside with the government. So this is what the whole quintessence that we have discussed today. So going ahead in that, what is required? The architecture for change. So it's going to be engineering a systemic eradication of the child labor with the executive reviewal of structural milestones. Set your milestones, work towards it. Since we are talking, as I told you, for the whole decade, the past decade and 2 decades rather, we have been talking about eradication of child labor, but still, definitely today it is as fresh as it was 20 years before, with the policy and capacity building and community action and advocacy networks. So how can we do that? By constructing an ecosystem of elimination, establishing the rules, equipping the enforcers, changing the reality and expanding the network. Changing the reality, don't jeopardize it. Just all of a sudden bring a very gradual change such that with the developed targeted actions and scalable demonstration models on the ground. Thereby, before that, we need to have the training, so enhance the knowledge base and the best sharing practices. So if we do that, what is required with the policy and framework? It should be with the macro national legal environment, with the institutional capacity. Within the institution, it will be institutional expertise. With the targeted ground actions at the community level, it will be there, and advocacy knowledge by sharing platforms of any mode, like media. We can make use of the media. So our primary audience, when we talk about the macro level of policy and legal, it will be lawmakers and regulators who should think about it. With the institutional capacity, it will be ministry officials and the local government or the local education body who is there. And with the targeted community people, with the vulnerable children and the families, go down to the root level of the vulnerable children and the families and educate them. With the advocacy knowledge of chiefs and politicians and social partners, we'll be able to achieve it. With the primary tools, what we are going to use is the policies definitely, and the training and data analysis definitely, and welcome the infrastructure of welfare packs and other things that we can look into. So the blueprinting of the legal foundation, how is it going to really help is that enhancing the employment of the person under the act. For anything, if it is legalized, then we are on the same boat. So thereby, what is required is the labor frameworks with the Child Act should be looked into, revisited, reimagined, enhanced employment of young persons Child Act, with the child labor policy being driven, written in every single institution, in every single government, in every single government body, such that it has been broadcasted very clearly. People are thorough with that, so they know their limitations of the child labor policy, so they will not violate it. They will be more in the compliance factor. So the integration of the decent work country programs with the priorities of the statutory framework and of hazardous work. List the hazardous work. These are the areas that they can work. These are the areas they cannot work. So if we systematically come up with programs like this with the overarching review of the labor laws. So how to do that? With a joint stakeholder community body or the consultative body who can come as ESG governance, that is environmental social governance. That's why I always stress that this environmental social governance should become a proper ministry in each and every country, so that they lay down the policies and act and very clearly with anything that is, say, for example, anti-human trafficking, which was mentioned, and unified legal approach, everything, so that this ESG governance, environmental social governance with the proper policies and the structure being laid out, will make the constitution more legal, and people are aware of it, and they will be able to act it or follow it at least. So with this, with the equipping the execution engine with the data specialist, what we need is to collect the data as on today, implementing partners to whom we are going to work, with the regional leadership, yes, who are the people who are going to work with, and definitely taking it across to all schools and education. As many have contributed saying that, yes, schools are the place, or the education institutions are the place where this can be really implemented, this can be really spread an awareness of it. With the SPRING methodology, where ministry officials trained in a special psychological intervention framework to support the children withdrawn from labor with the arts and media, thereby we'll be able to make our way towards the cost. Definitely for each and every implementation, there is a cost which is involved in it. If we say reinforce free primary education, how could this be done? Or abolishing of examination fees. Think from the government point of view, how could this be done. It's so easy to say that, yes, this is the thing to be done. How it is to be done. That's why when we say that, when we put a thought, it's always better to show every address. So if we do that, then it will be very good. So then coming back to the physical barriers of education, bringing the students within the society, the locality, so that the children doesn't have the pain or the problem traveling. So think about the closer proximity schools are getting into, and the school resources being free of cost, and the learning materials are free of cost, easily accessible to all without internet. Think about a satellite education which can come through the radio or TV medium, so that the child can watch it from the TV or radio rather than going to the internet where they are deprived of, with the inclusive education of rigorous monitoring and gender parity, etc. at all education levels. If we do all these things beyond the classroom, we should have a welfare data system such that this welfare data system will contribute to the major extent for the happiness index of the country, taking child labor into consideration, such that expand school health, nutrition, and water sanitation programs, deploy targeted food with the security packs of vulnerable households, just give them as free, or every school institution or every house can keep a small refrigerator somewhere out, and if any food is extra, they can put it out. So these people are directed. Everything should be communicated, well informed. If it is done so, this can be really eradicated. These are the ways that I'm just talking about. Integrating families into the public social welfare assistance schemes with the created district child labor communities with the localized environment and enforcement. They have to work together with the ministries, the respective ministries and the local government, local municipality and other institutions. Thereby authorized child's work booklet should come as a playbook, such that they will know exactly do's and don'ts very clearly. If we do all these things, definitely we will be able to do that with expanding network of advocates like traditional leaders, political leaders, social partners, senior government officials. Everyone has to work together. Now we are talking about example, very simple climatic adaptation that we are talking about. COP20 has come up. Can something come out for child labor, please? If we do that, then I think this will be definitely eradicated with the anatomy of the breakthrough, with the revised child labor policy, creates a legal mandate, and with the screen technique and the screen training which is going on, with the school radius, with the nearest proximity, and sharing all the best practices and the resources which are possible, we will be able to prepare a replicable blueprint for elimination, thereby fragmented initiatives with the interlocking ecosystem and the legislative reform at the ground level, welfare and traditional leadership with a sustainable model for change that we are looking for, and the architecture stands ready to scale, ensure the elimination of child labor is structurally permanent, not just temporarily first. So from policy to protection, the strategies to eliminate child labor is that's what I really wanted to convey. On that note, I really have one thing which I really want to play this video. Why Japanese school classrooms are such an awe for people across the globe. So let's have a look at
why do Japanese classrooms run so smoothly, even without a teacher in the room? It's not just discipline or fear of punishment. It's something deeper, a cultural value called wa, harmony, where the group matters more than the individual. From a young age, students are taught to cooperate, take responsibility, and consider others before acting. This shared morality creates classrooms where students self-regulate, even when no one's watching. So what can we learn from Japan's group-first mindset, and what are the trade-offs? But first, if you're curious about how schools around the world shape students and societies, be sure to subscribe. We break down global education stories every week. Thanks for watching. Now, let's get into it. In Japan, moral education isn't an add-on. It's part of the weekly schedule, like math or science. It's taught through a subject called Dotoku Kyoiku, moral education. Some schools even call it Kokoro no Jikan, time for the heart, highlighting its focus on emotional intelligence and shared values. But it's not about memorizing rules. It's about shaping character. Through stories, group discussions, and real-life scenarios, students explore empathy, courage, responsibility, and respect. They're not just taught what's right. They're invited to reflect on why it matters. Japan's 2018 Moral Education Guidelines aim to develop students who think deeply, feel responsibly, and act in harmony with others, in school and beyond. In short, Japan teaches morality with intention, to raise not just smart students, but good ones. At the center of it all is what my group harmony. Standing out isn't celebrated the way it often is in Western systems. Here, the highest virtue is maintaining peace within the group. From preschool, kids learn their behavior affects others. Speaking out of turn or acting selfishly isn't just breaking a rule. It disrupts the flow. And in a way-based society, that's serious. As anthropologist Mary White explains, it's not punishment that keeps students in line. It's quiet peer pressure. No one wants to be the one who makes things uncomfortable. So students learn to self-regulate, to observe, wait, and adapt. Why do Japanese classrooms run so smoothly, even without a teacher in the room? It's not just discipline.
Sorry, the video is playing again. So what to sum up is that basically, if you're talking about right to education, if you're talking about making education is a powerful weapon which is going to bring a change in the society, is there any possibility that we can reimagine Indian education system where this is out of the world? It just can't happen there because the laws and government doesn't allow it because that's the actual reality that we're talking about. Why? Because this is not being inculcated from the childhood level, right, from their families. Basically, who's to be blamed is basically why is the child is going for child labor? Why is the child is going for work? The families are driving. It's the family culture that has to change, basically. Otherwise, we cannot bring. Of course, government has to change, the policies have to come. I've given the review, I've given the whole review. But what is the main catalyst is the family. Is the family culture, family history, which speaks quite a lot before you open your mouth. 100%. I think everybody will agree with me. 100%. It's the thinking, perspective of each and every family should change. Indian families should definitely come out of this, really. There's no other way that we can really think about it. There's no other solution if we're taking India as an example. If at all African countries that we're talking about, who is sending these children for work? Parents, who else? And if there are no parents, the child should be educated to know exactly what are my rights, what are my values, how am I, every replica, who am I? I'm the mirror of my parents. Looking at me, you can say how my parents were, how my parents are. You don't need to open up and speak. Looking at you, I can tell very, very clearly who your parents are, what kind of parents you are. And if the child is coming for labor, the parents are to be blamed, no one else. 100%. I don't know, like whether you agree or not, definitely. And if there are no parents, definitely the child has not been taught the values. We have seen the Japanese government. Their education, moral education is right from the birth. Right from the birth, it has not been inculcated in the society. It has not been inculcated in the family. That is why one has taken the courage of coming to the society and telling whatever comes to their mind. And people are accepting it. I'm sorry about it if I'm wrong, but still, this is the actual matter of fact. If at all the child labor has to go, one and only the parents have to change. The change has to begin in you. That means your parents. The thought process of the parents should change. The thought process of the child should change. If each and every individual is going to change, you can think about bringing the change in the society. Am I right, ma'am?
You're right.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. So I think my review was right. So we are thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So we're thinking about policies.
Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful session. But I want to say two things about you, Dr. Srividhya. Number one, your personal call to action. It's a personal thing. We need to really take responsibility, and we have to teach that responsibility and include our children very early on in the decisions that we make and how they can impact their lives. Number one. Number two, the strategic intervention matrix that you presented now reminds us that child labor cannot be solved through a single intervention. It starts with us, but it requires action at every level of society. I would really love to discuss it further, especially for World Education Policy. As you know, that I preside that organization also. We need strong laws and policies that protect children. We need institutions equipped with the knowledge, the skills, and resources to implement those protections, what we saw with you today. We need direct support for vulnerable children. Like you said, children that don't have parents. Who steps in? Is it the family? Who does this? So that poverty never becomes a reason a child is forced to work instead of learn. And we need advocacy, and that's every single one of us. We need awareness, and we need partnership that changes attitudes. We have to stop thinking that is their problem. That is not my business. We need to put children's rights at the center of our decision making. We've heard time and again. Excuse me?
rewrite the whole constitution. Whom should we be scared of? No one. Why should I be scared of it? I've got this in mind. When I know that what I'm saying is right, I'm going to speak it out. I'm going to get it through. Just because something is wrong somewhere, I don't need to blindly follow it. I'm not that kind.
All right.
I don't know.
What I appreciate most about your framework is, because I look at frameworks every day, is that it recognizes sustainable change happens when governments, educators, civil society, communities, and families work together. All stakeholders. They're key. As educators, we know that every child kept in school is a child given an opportunity to dream, to grow, and to contribute to his community and to society. And as leaders, we know that protecting children is not charity. It's an investment in our peace, in our prosperity, and in human dignity. So thank you, Dr. Sukumar, for sharing such a practical roadmap. I loved it. For building a world where no child is forced into labor and every child has access to education, protection, and opportunity. So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking Her Excellency Ambassador Dr. Srividhya Sukumar. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Before we leave, I would like to read the vote of thanks from Advocate Piyush Pandit, our founder, distinguished chief guest, Mr. Keith Best, honored speakers, respected guests, educators, advocates, and participants around the world. On behalf of International Internship University, it is my privilege to extend our heartfelt gratitude to each one of you for making today's Global Roundtable a meaningful and impactful gathering. We are deeply honored by the presence of our distinguished chief guest and keynote speaker, Mr. Keith Best, former Parliament Minister in the UK, whose lifelong commitment today as president of Stop Human Trafficking Worldwide, he fights to create a better world for every single person. Fighting against trafficking continues to inspire global action, especially because children are the most vulnerable. I would also like to express my sincere appreciation to all of our distinguished speakers for sharing their expertise, experiences, and perspectives. Your contributions have strengthened our understanding of the challenges facing children around the world, and more importantly, the solutions needed to create lasting change. We also would like to thank our organizing team, moderators, volunteers, partners, and participants from around the globe. Your presence demonstrates that protecting children is not the responsibility of one nation or one organization. It is a shared responsibility of humanity. And as we conclude, let us remember that awareness must lead to action. We will see each other again. Advocate Piyush Pandit. As CEO of International Internship University, I have the privilege of working with educators, leaders, and changemakers from nearly every corner of the world every single day. It is my privilege, and it's a blessing. This experience has reinforced a simple truth for me. Education remains one of the most powerful tools we have to break cycles of poverty, inequality, and exploitation, and most important, hopelessness. Every additional year of schooling changes a life. Every year, every educated child strengthens a family. And every opportunity we create for a child today helps us build a more powerful and peaceful, prosperous, and equitable world tomorrow. Peace comes from education. Peace comes from education. Peace is resolved. Conflict is resolved with education. So education continues to be that equalizer for every single one of us. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to our distinguished guest today, Mr. Keith Best, and to all of our student speakers, every single one of you here who generously shared your experience, your expertise, your wisdom, and your commitment to this cause that you do week after week. There isn't a topic that I have not brought that you have not said yes to. And that makes me so, so proud to have such a community of people that are involved and that believe. I am really, really honored to walk alongside every single one of you because I have seen you. You're part of my family now. I can't wait to meet you in person. And I would also like to acknowledge our founder, Advocate Piyush Pandit, whose vision continues to inspire IIU's mission to expand access to education, leadership, and opportunity across the globe. Through platforms such as this Global Roundtable, we're not only raising awareness, we're building partnerships, encouraging action, and creating solutions. Together, let's continue working toward a future where every child is forced to choose what they want: education, learning, friends, play, and not work. A future where small hands hold books instead of burdens. A future where every child is protected, educated, empowered, and given the opportunity to reach their fullest potential. We saw that beautiful video shared by Dr. Srividhya from Japan. took that also as an adult, things that I can make happen in my surroundings. Let's not forget, because every child deserves a safe childhood. So let us continue investing in education. Let us continue to empower families. Let us continue to protect children. God bless you all. Thank you and namaste.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
everyone.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Virginia ma'am, for the hosting today's this wonderful event. And I again wanted to pay my gratitude for this today's wonderful platform due to the network issue, and I'm not that much well, so not able to continue with this. But thank you so much for today's initiative. On behalf of eVillage team, I again request you all, we are here to welcome you all from across the globe. Please do come to visit to our James International as well as eVillage. Everyone, please. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Shruti Kulkarni. I'm so happy to have you here with us. Thank you all for joining us. Together we can make a difference. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Especially all
Bye-bye.
those
Thank you.
all those
Bye-bye.
people
Thanks,
from
Lord.
30 there.
And more power to
Before you leave,
each individual to keep doing the good. More
yes,
power to
before you
every
leave, let's take a
individual.
picture. Let's take a picture before you leave.
Our lives
Press
to you.
over there. 1,
All
2, 3. Because I don't know if I'll get it in the back. Okay,
Okay, bye.
bye. Okay, now we can go. Bye, guys. Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.